The hip-hop world just witnessed an earthquake, and the aftershocks are still shaking the industry to its core. In a twist nobody saw coming, Kendrick Lamar obliterated the competition, selling an earth-shattering 800,000 tickets for his surprise Requiem tours in just 48 hours, leaving none other than Drake completely blindsided. Fans are shocked. Social media is on fire. And behind the scenes, emotions are exploding. Sources close to both camps reveal that Drake had been quietly preparing a global tour of his own, set to drop next month. But Kendrick's jaw-dropping. Numbers have stolen the spotlight, and according to insiders, Drake is livid. One insider claims he feels betrayed by the game. He thought Kendrick was done competing. But this isn't just a numbers game, it's personal. Word is, Kendrick's tour is packed with subliminal shots, hidden messages, and even a not-so-subtle diss track that has OVO camp scrambling. And if you thought the tension between these two was over after The Heart Part 6, think again. What started as a lyrical war has just gone nuclear, and this time the battlefield is packed arenas, screaming fans, going fans, and millions of dollars at stake. Buckle up, because this story gets way messier. When the news first dropped that Kendrick Lamar had sold over 800,000 tickets for his upcoming Requiem tour, jaws didn't just drop, they shattered. At first, fans thought it was a joke, a wild rumor someone started to stir up drama. But within hours, verified sources confirmed it. Ticketmaster crashed, merch sites were overwhelmed, and stadiums across North America, Europe, and even parts of Africa were reporting sold-out signs before the sun had even set. In just 2 days, Kendrick had pulled off what most artists couldn't do in a year. And in doing so, he sent a crystal-clear message to one specific person. Drake. Behind the scenes, chaos erupted. According to a source within the OVO circle, Drake was at his Toronto mansion when the figures rolled in. He was sitting by the pool, sipping wine, allegedly reviewing plans for his own tour, rumored to be titled Certified Finale. The source says he was relaxed, even laughing, till his manager walked in with the numbers. The smile disappeared. He didn't say a word, just stood up, went inside, and slammed the glass door so hard it cracked. People close to both camps insist this isn't just about ticket sales, okay? No, this is about vindication. After months of rap warfare, diss tracks, and subliminals thrown like daggers in the dark, the industry thought the storm had passed. Drake had remained silent for weeks, and Kendrick had seemingly vanished from the spotlight. But as one insider put it, Kendrick wasn't retreating. He was strategizing. And this tour is his revenge. The name Requiem Tour wasn't chosen by accident. It's a message, one that Kendrick's inner circle says symbolizes the funeral of an era, and fans weren't the only ones who noticed. On Instagram Live, J-Rock let it slip that the stage visuals will feature scenes from Kendrick's battles over the past decade, including moments many believe were directly inspired by his feud with Drake. There are even whispers that each tour date will feature a new unreleased verse performed once and never again, each one supposedly packed with hidden references, cryptic takedowns, and layered meanings. Fans are calling it the live diss vault. Drake, for his part, has been eerily quiet. No tweets, no stories, no shade thrown. But the silence has only fueled speculation. One Toronto radio host said, Drake's always been strategic. If he's quiet, it's not because he's weak. He's planning something. And when it comes, it'll be explosive. But not everyone in Drake's camp is staying silent. Longtime collaborator Noah 40 Shabib reportedly told a friend that the timing of Kendrick's announcement felt intentional. According to the friend, 40 allegedly said he knew Drake was about to announce. He timed this perfectly to ruin it. It's war again. Fans have latched onto this theory, especially after someone leaked what appeared to be AVO's internal tour schedule, complete with dates and venue bookings, all eerily similar to Kendrick's. The internet has gone full detective mode. One fan pointed out that Kendrick's tour trailer includes a slow pan across a chessboard with the Black King standing alone, surrounded by fallen white pieces. Others noted the soundtrack playing in the background matched the instrumental, used in The Heart Part 6, the very track that ended Kendrick's initial salvo earlier this year. Nothing in Kendrick's world is ever random. Every frame, every lyric, every silence is calculated. And this time, the calculation is surgical. The emotional stakes, though, run far deeper than industry competition. People close to Kendrick say this moment means everything. They say he's been haunted by the way the mainstream once favored Drake, even when Kendrick's albums were critically superior. One insider revealed he's felt underestimated. Like people didn't respect his artistry the same way they respected The Flash. This tour is his way of saying, I am the culture. But with every triumph comes turmoil. Back in Toronto, tensions are reportedly spilling over. A private dinner hosted by OVO last weekend ended with a heated exchange between Drake and one of his closest producers. Sources claim the argument revolved around whether Drake should drop a surprise diss before his own tour announcement or wait it out. The producer allegedly warned him, "You can't win this time with charm. This ain't about Instagram captions." He's got the people, and they want blood. What's even more shocking is how the public has responded. In the past, Drake's fan base was seen as invincible, loyal, massive, and untouchable. But this time, a noticeable shift has occurred. Comments under OVO posts are flooded with users mocking the silence. One viral tweet read, "Drake dropped a pen, Kendrick dropped a nuke." It's the kind of public perception flip that can rattle even the biggest artists. And make no mistake, Drake feels it. Inside Kendrick's camp, the mood is electric. Top Dog Entertainment is reportedly in celebration mode. One source said they've been quiet too long. Now they're dancing in the hallways. But even they weren't prepared for what came next, because just 2 hours after Kendrick's final pre-sale closed, a bombshell hit Twitter, a leaked screenshot from an OVO group chat. While unverified, the image shows what appears to be a message from Drake himself, stating, "I told y'all this would happen. You pushed me to let this happen. Now I'm done playing." Whether real or fake, the internet went into meltdown mode. Fans dissected every word, speculating that Drake might finally be stepping away from music. Others say it's just a bluff, a warning before he fires back with something massive. And if that wasn't enough, another twist came from a completely unexpected angle. Drake's father, Dennis Graham. In a rare Facebook post, he wrote, "Numbers don't make legends, but pain does." The post was quickly deleted, but not before screenshots flooded social media. Some interpreted it as support for his son. Others saw it as a subtle admission that Kendrick's win stung more than they wanted to admit. This moment, these few days of chaotic energy have ignited something in the music world that fans haven't felt in years. It's not just about numbers or charts or even rivalry. It's about identity. It's about legacy. And right now, Kendrick's legacy is screaming louder than ever. But while the world celebrated his triumph, and Drake's silence thickened into a fog of uncertainty, something else was brewing behind the scenes. Something darker. Something no one, not even Kendrick, saw coming. Because while the world celebrated his triumph, and Drake's silence thickened into a fog of uncertainty, something else was brewing behind the scenes. Something darker. Something no one, not even Kendrick, saw coming. In the early hours of the morning, as Kendrick's team reviewed post-launch analytics and social media engagement, a quiet message arrived at the desk of his longtime publicist. It came from an anonymous account. No name, no signature, just a chilling line. "He knows what you did. He's not staying silent." The publicist reportedly froze. She showed the message to Kendrick, who read it once, twice, then calmly slid the phone back and said, "They're bluffing." But his eyes, according to those in the room, said something else entirely. Recognition, the speculation machine exploded when Kendrick's cousin, Baby Keem, posted a cryptic story just hours later, an all-black background with a single word, in lowercase, regret. Fans immediately flooded his DMs and Twitter replies, demanding answers. Was it about the tour? Was it directed at Kendrick? Or was it about something else entirely? By noon, rumors were swirling that someone from Kendrick's past, an ex-producer, an old trade affiliate, possibly even a shelved collaborator from the damn sessions, was preparing to go public with damning information. Insiders whispered of unreleased tracks, alleged manipulations behind tour negotiations, and worst of all, supposed backdoor industry moves meant to block Drake's tour rollout. One industry blogger wrote, "This goes way deeper than numbers. There's a war for power happening and the collateral damage is just beginning." On Drake's side, the mood had shifted. While he remained silent, those around him began to speak more boldly. One OVO affiliate tweeted and deleted, "He let him win the numbers, now he's taking the soul." Fans took this as a sign. A return shot was coming, but not in the form anyone expected. No music, no bars, just cold, calculated exposure. Meanwhile, Kendrick continued to rehearse. Rehearsals for the Requiem tour were described as intense, military-level, and emotionally charged. Stagehands and choreographers leaked images of massive Gothic sets, black feathers, glowing red eyes, and mirrored hallways. But one detail caught everyone's attention: a prop coffin, rolled out during every run-through with a name etched across it in silver ink. The name wasn't visible in the photos, but insiders claim it read simply, Aubrey. The fans were divided. Some were thrilled, calling it art, power, dominance. Others called it disrespectful, too far, even dangerous. The divide was growing not just between fans, but within the music community. One young rapper tweeted, "They're treating this like a video game." But real careers, real reputations, real people are on the line. And just as the dust began to settle around the coffin controversy, another twist detonated. An unreleased Drake track leaked online, grainy, rough, clearly unfinished, but enough to spark fire across the internet. The title, Exit Wounds. The lyrics, vicious. He rapped about a puppet-in-law, a tour built on betrayal, and a king who only reigns when I sleep. Fans debated its authenticity, but experts confirmed the voice was Drake's. And while he never acknowledged, the leak OVO insiders were allegedly furious. One engineer told a podcast anonymously, that track was locked in a vault. The fact that it's out means someone's playing both sides. The betrayal wasn't just professional. Word is, one of Kendrick's own dancers, someone handpicked, for the tour's visual storytelling, was quietly removed after being spotted having dinner with a known OVO producer in Atlanta. Kendrick didn't confront her. He simply walked into rehearsal the next day and replaced her solo with a violinist. No words, just silence and precision. As the Requiem tour's opening night approached, tension reached a fever pitch. Journalists camped outside the stadium. Fans created lineups 48 hours in advance. And across the continent, in a penthouse suite in Toronto, Drake made a call. Not to a label, not to a lawyer, but to his mother. Sources say the two spoke for nearly an hour. And while no recording exists, a staff member overheard snippets. Drake's voice was quiet, even broken. He allegedly said, "I built an empire. Ma, but now they want to burn it down." The family was left divided. Some relatives urged him to walk away, to rise above the drama. Others wanted him to fight. One cousin even posted a photo of Drake from 2009 with the caption, "He's still that hungry kid. Y'all forgot?" Meanwhile, back in Los Angeles, Kendrick was seen visiting his old neighborhood alone. No entourage, no cameras. It's just him in a hoodie, walking the same blocks that raised him. A bystander who recognized him tried to film, but Kendrick waved him off, saying, "This moment ain't for clicks." Those close to him say he was reflective, quiet, possibly even conflicted. One friend said, "He's not a villain. He just knows this was the only way to be heard." Then the unthinkable happened, mere hours before the first Requiem tour show. A bombshell article dropped from an anonymous whistleblower alleging that Kendrick's team had outbid Drake's team for 2 major venues. Not just beating the offer, but intentionally scheduling events on the same days to box Drake out. The article claimed to have emails, contracts, and witness statements. The internet imploded. Fans screamed sabotage. Tabloids ran with headlines like "Kendrick kills," "Drake's comeback before it begins," and "Kendrick." He didn't flinch. When the lights dimmed in the sold-out arena and the intro music played, he walked onto that stage with fire in his eyes and delivered the performance of a lifetime. He opened with a brand new song, one no one had heard before, a haunting, minimalist track with only one lyric repeated over and over. "You waited too long." Fans sobbed. Critics wept. And backstage, his team hugged, cried, even prayed. But in the shadows, the whispers only grew louder. Because while Kendrick was basking in glory, another storm had already begun to swirl, and this one wasn't coming from a rival rapper. It was coming from within his own camp. The betrayal wasn't over. The betrayal wasn't over. Hours after the final curtain fell on Kendrick's first Requiem tour performance, someone from inside his own crew, someone he had trusted, made a move that would send shockwaves through both camps. The leak came suddenly. A private voice memo recorded weeks earlier, uploaded anonymously onto a subreddit known for hip-hop conspiracy theories. The voice in the memo, unmistakably Kendrick's, calm, calculated, and saying one thing that stopped the internet. "Cold, I don't care what Drake's planning. We move first. We block the venues, and if he can't tour, then he can't breathe." The reaction was instant and violent. Fans who had praised Kendrick's artistry were suddenly questioning everything. Tweets flooded in. "This isn't a strategy. This is sabotage. I love his music, but this feels dirty." And most haunting of all, has Kendrick become the very thing he fought against? Even his inner circle started to fracture. Baby Keem, who had been silent since his cryptic regret post, unfollowed 3 of the tour's creative directors. Teed's official account went quiet for nearly 12 hours, a silence fans found eerie and intentional. Behind closed doors, arguments erupted. One dancer quit mid-rehearsal. 2 tech crew members were reportedly escorted out after a shouting match over whether they were leaking intel. The tension hit boiling point when Kendrick's longtime manager, known for being unshakable, was photographed outside the venue screaming into his phone, visibly shaking. According to someone on the scene, he shouted, "He was supposed to be better than this. This wasn't the plan." The identity of the person on the other end remains unknown, but speculation is wild. Some say it was a media fixer. Others believe it was someone from Drake's team, possibly attempting to negotiate a truce. Either way, the cracks in the armor were showing, and they were deep. Drake, meanwhile, had been watching everything unfold from Toronto. And for the first time in weeks, he broke his silence. Not with a diss track, not with a live stream, not with a post. A single photo on Instagram, an old picture of him and Kendrick backstage at a 2013 award show. Both smiling, both younger, both unaware of the war to come. The caption was simple: "You knew better." Fans were stunned. It wasn't shade, it wasn't sarcasm, it felt human. Like the final sigh of someone tired of fighting. The comment section turned into a battleground. Some begged him to walk away. Others demanded vengeance. And then, buried among thousands of replies, one account posted a single sentence: "Check your email." Within an hour, another leak hit the net. This time, it wasn't audio, it was video. Blurry security footage allegedly taken at a recording studio in Los Angeles. In the clip, 2 men argue, one of them believed to be Kendrick, the other unknown. Their voices are muffled, but a few words can be made out. You crossed a line he'll never recover. And most damning of all, this was always about ending him. By morning, the narrative had flipped. Where Kendrick had once stood as the people's champion, the calculated genius, now there was a growing chorus asking if he had pushed too far. Was it still about music, or had it turned into obsession? Even die-hard fans were shaken. One wrote, "We wanted bars, not backstabs." This feels like watching a hero turn into a villain in real time. But just when it seemed the tide was turning against Kendrick, a surprise ally stepped into the light, none other than J. Cole. After months of silence and rumored estrangement from both artists, Cole appeared on stage at a charity event in Raleigh, and midway through his set, he paused, looked directly at the crowd, and said, "I see what y'all saying, but don't get it twisted. You don't get to judge the fire unless you've walked through it." Both of them are brothers bleeding, in different ways. The clip went viral instantly. Fans dissected every word. Was Cole defending Kendrick? Calling for peace? Throwing shade at Drake for staying silent too long? No one knew for sure. But one thing was clear: the emotional toll on everyone involved was rising. And then came the letter. A handwritten note was posted to Kendrick's official website without warning. Scanned in black and white, no header, no signature, just words, raw, vulnerable, and scathing. They said I was too quiet. Think they said I was too loud. They said I waited too long. Think they said I moved too soon. They asked for the truth. I gave it to them. They threw it back like poison. So now I walk alone. Not for glory, not for fame, just to finish what I started. Some called it a masterpiece. Others called it a confession. One journalist described it as a manifesto of a man at war with the industry, the world, and maybe even himself. And it didn't take long for the internet to pick up on the final line, just to finish what I started. A haunting echo of a lyric from Kendrick's early mixtapes, and a warning that this story was far from over. But behind all the theatrics, all the drama, something more human was unraveling. Because while Kendrick was preparing for night 2 of his tour, while Drake scrolled through headlines alone in the cold blue light of his penthouse, someone else was preparing to speak. Someone who had remained silent for over a decade. A figure once caught between both men and now ready to choose a side. An email was sent to 3 major hip-hop blogs. The subject line read, "I was there the night the war started." The sender, Sophie, Drake's ex and the mother of his son. The message was brief but direct. She claimed to have proof of a moment that changed everything, a conversation between Kendrick and Drake that took place years ago. In secret, long before the public ever suspected they were rivals. And according to her, it was that moment that planted the seed for everything. The battles, the disses, the paranoia, the betrayal. But what exactly was said? And why was she choosing now to come forward? The answer would set everything on fire. The answer would set everything on fire. When the blogs published Sophie's email, the internet froze. Timelines paused, group chats exploded. Reddit threads multiplied by the minute. Because what she shared wasn't just a story. It was a time bomb, one that rewrote the entire narrative of Kendrick versus Drake in her message. Sophie claimed she had overheard a private meeting between Kendrick and Drake in Paris back in 2017. The world had no idea. The two were even in the same city at the time, let alone sharing a table. But according to her, the meeting was tense from the start. Both men were civil, but the air between them was heavy with distrust. She said the conversation lasted nearly an hour. But one moment stood out above all, she wrote. Kendrick looked Drake in the eyes and said, "One day you'll be on top and you'll still feel empty. And when you do, you'll remember this talk. And know that I warned you." Sophie claimed Drake didn't respond right away. He just smiled, lifted his glass, and said, "And when that day comes, I hope you're still rapping, because I'll need someone to bury me." Fans couldn't believe it. was like a hidden prologue, a buried chapter that gave weight to everything, that followed the subliminals, the tension, the silence, the war. It wasn't random, it had always been personal. And now the world finally knew, but the fallout was immediate. Within minutes of the story breaking, Kendrick's team pulled down his website. The handwritten note disappeared. Its official tour page went offline. Then, just as suddenly, everything returned, but with a new post added. A single sentence written in the same handwritten font as before. I remember the table, and the drink, and the silence. It was the only acknowledgement Kendrick would make. He didn't deny the story. He didn't challenge the details. He simply confirmed it happened. And that silence spoke louder than any verse. Drake, on the other hand, remained offline. No comments, no tweets. But insiders say he was shaken. One close friend revealed he never expected Sophie to speak. Not like this. Not now. Others said he felt betrayed not because of the leak itself, but because that moment in Paris was sacred to him. It was one of the few times he felt. He truly saw Kendrick not as a rival, but as a mirror. And now it was all public. The music industry went into overdrive. Interview requests flooded both camps. Think pieces ran nonstop. Every lyric, every archived Instagram post, every press photo from 2017 was reanalyzed. Fans posted side-by-sides of Kendrick's tour visuals and Drake's old music videos, drawing eerie parallels. Suddenly, all seemed intentional, like two careers locked in a synchronized dance of dominance and destruction. But even as the headlines raged, something even more unexpected happened. Fans, the same fans who had been tearing each other apart for months, began to soften, not because the war was over, but because now they understood it. The pain behind the bars, the fear behind the silence, the loneliness behind the fame on TikTok. A clip of Kendrick's first Requiem tour performance, him whispering the words "you waited too long," was layered over an old Drake interview where he said, "Sometimes I feel like I'm winning, but I don't know what the prize is." The video hit 10 million views in a day. The top comment read, "They're both broken. And that's why their music hits." But peace was still a long way off, because just when the world thought the story had reached its peak, Kendrick made one final move. He announced that the Requiem tour's last show, a massive stadium event scheduled in Compton, would include an unannounced guest. Fans speculated wildly. Would it be Cool Jay-Z? Even Eminem? But then came the twist that no one expected. A leaked production memo, allegedly from Kendrick's stage manager, revealed the guest would not be a performer, but a conversation. Projected video conversation recorded earlier that week. The title on the memo, Paris, 7 years later. The entire internet went into meltdown mode. Was Kendrick releasing the recording of that 2017 meeting with Drake? Did he have footage, audio? Would he really end a tour and possibly the feud by airing their private words in front of 60,000 fans? But then, silence. The show came and went. The lights were breathtaking. The performances are flawless, but the guest never appeared. The moment fans had waited for didn't happen, and when the credits rolled on the final screen, just 3 words appeared, unfinished. By design. The audience stood in stunned silence. Some cheered, others cried, but everyone understood Kendrick had made his choice. Not to reveal, not to attack, but to withhold. To keep that final piece of the puzzle for himself. A power move. Or a peace offering. No one could say for sure. And back in Toronto, miles away from the lights and the noise, Drake reportedly watched the entire stream from his studio. According to a sound engineer on site, Drake didn't speak the entire time. He just sat, eyes locked to the screen. And when the credits rolled, he nodded once and whispered, he remembered. The war, it seemed, had ended not with a bang, but with a memory, a shared moment, and a silence neither man could escape. But the story isn't over. because even now whispers continue. Rumors of unreleased tracks, quiet meetings, unfinished projects between the two. Could reconciliation be next? Could the greatest rivalry in hip-hop history turn into the most unexpected collaboration? Or is the silence just a pause before the next shot is fired? Either way, the world will be watching, and the question on everyone's lips remains the same. What comes after a requiem? So now you've seen it all. The victory, the silence, the betrayal, and the memory that reignited everything. Kendrick Lamar's historic 800,000 ticket sale didn't just shake the industry, it cracked open the deepest fault lines in modern hip-hop. What began as a numbers game spiraled into a full-blown saga of power, legacy, and emotion. And the craziest part, we still don't know where it ends. Drake's silence has never been louder. Kendrick's final words, unfinished by design, hang in the air like the last note of a song that refuses to fade. Was this his final move, or just the beginning of a darker, more personal chapter? And Sophie's confession. That revelation still lingers, haunting every theory, every lyric, every pause in the beat. The fans are torn. Some say the war is over, others say the real battle has yet to begin. And somewhere, in the middle of the chaos, two men stand alone, each carrying the weight of a decade-long rivalry that may have started with respect, but ended in something far more complicated. What do you think will happen next? Do you think Drake is really done? Or is he just waiting for the perfect moment to strike? Will Kendrick finally step away, satisfied that he made his point? Or could there be something else waiting behind the curtain? A collab? A call? A final verse? We want to hear from you. Drop your theories in the comments, tell us whose side you're on, and don't forget to like this video if you were hooked by the drama. And if you want more insane industry breakdowns, wild celebrity twists, and shocking moments that nobody else is daring to touch, make sure you subscribe right now, because if you thought this was intense, you haven't seen anything yet. Anything yet?